Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Anti-Bullying 101. These podcasts are designed to create awareness about the bullying epidemic and provide teachers, administrators, parents, and even students information about the dangers of bullying and why we have to take a comprehensive approach when dealing with the problem. My name is Jim Burns. I'm a retired high school administrator with over 40 years of experience in education. Currently, I'm a college instructor and have designed the Bully-Proof Classroom, a graduate course that provides my students with permanent help, not temporary relief, as they battle the bullying epidemic. Today, we're going to continue our series, and we're going to be talking about behaviors that kids exhibit that, when not dealt with correctly, will weaken any classroom or school. When too many of these behaviors exist, everyone can suffer from what I call the Kryptonite syndrome. Today we're going to be talking about a problem that has come about because grade inflation has become so rampant. Every kid is awesome. We can't tell them the truth about their academic performance or behavior because everyone thinks will damage their self-esteem. I call this Deceptive Kryptonite. One of the things that I've noticed today in society is that everyone has a problem with the truth. I don't mean we walk around lying all the time, but we're always afraid of hurting someone's feelings or becoming entangled in some sort of confrontation with the person we are speaking with, or better yet, the person we're living with. Sometimes we're concerned about someone's reaction to us, so we bend the truth or poke around to try and figure out what the person really wants to hear. It really starts to become a problem in personal relationships when couples are afraid to make their desires known for fear of a breakup or divorce. People can have a problem with the truth on the job when a supervisor might worry about an employee's reaction to a poor performance evaluation. In education, a teacher might be worried about a student or parent's reaction and then could easily award grades that are not in line with the student's performance. When I was in high school, my guidance counselor called me down to his office and pulled out my grades. What do you want to do when you're through with high school? I told him that I didn't know, and then in the next breath, thinking that I had to tell him something other than the truth, that I wanted to be a bartender, I told him that I wanted to be a lawyer. A lawyer, he said, pointing to my grades. These are not lawyer grades. If I were you, I would start thinking about doing something else. I walked out of his office and wasn't the least bit offended. I didn't even think about going home and telling my father that my guidance counselor said I wasn't smart enough to be a lawyer. Matter of fact, I never said one word to my father. You know what? The guy had actually told me the truth, and the truth, well, it really did set me free. I started to look honestly at my abilities, and I was able to acknowledge the fact that I hadn't worked hard enough academically for my first 3 years of high school. I really started to think about my future realistically. My guidance counselor made me take a hard look in the mirror and come to terms with my abilities and what my attitude really was. He told me the truth, and I appreciated that. A few years ago, a student came into my office. I was working as an interim principal, and he began to discuss with me what he wanted to do after he finished high school. He wanted to be a doctor. That's a terrific goal for a young person. Well, I asked him what he scored on his SATs, and he told me he scored about a 400 on each section. I wasn't thinking in my mind that a perfect score, or I was thinking in my mind that a perfect score is 800 in each section. And a pretty good score would be about a 650 to a 700. I knew something right then and there. He wasn't going to be my doctor. I proceeded to pull his grades out and found that his math and science grades were C's and D's. Now, I, of course, wanted to respond with the same question that my guidance counselor asked me. Do these look like doctor grades? But based upon the culture and society's norms, I couldn't ask that question. I immediately directed this student to the entry requirements that college had for their pre-med program and ultimately medical school. He discovered the truth on his own and came back to me and thanked me for helping him to realize that his study skills needed improvement and that he needed to take and retake the college boards. The truth made him aware of his own weaknesses and how much harder he was going to have to work in order to achieve his goals. Society seems to want to withhold the truth and make everyone believe that they're smarter than what they are and that their behavior is based on circumstance or their environment or lack of therapy or medication. Facing the truth about my abilities and my work ethic put me on track and helped me choose a good vocation and helped me to understand how I needed to improve my attitude and my academics. Subsequently, instead of floating through life unsuccessfully from one job to another, I worked hard in college, graduate school, and then as an employee. So the next time your kids come home and say that their teacher told them that they have to work harder, or their work is unacceptable, or that their behavior is unacceptable, or they better consider going to a county college rather than a 4-year university, thank the teacher for doing something that is a rarity today. Speaking the truth. My name is Jim Burns, and I couldn't agree more with what I just told you. And I believe that we have to begin to speak the truth to our children and to our students and make them realize when they are academically deficient and when their behavior is out of control. Thank you for listening to Anti-Bullying 101. I ask that you go to my website at bullyproofclassroom.com. Check out some of the products, some of the resources that are there. There's also a spot where you can take some professional development hours. Take a look at the courses. You might be surprised at some of the topics, but certificates are awarded and you will get credit for the work that you put in. Once again, my name is Jim Burns, and you have been listening to Anti-Bullying 101.